Hey guys, this is a video on functions and function notation. If you're asked to find the value of y for a function, let's say the equation is y is equal to 2x minus 4 when x is equal to negative 3. All we're going to do is we're going to take negative 3 and everywhere in our equation that we have an x, we're going to plug in the value negative 3. So we take y is equal to 2 times, and we're going to plug in that negative 3 minus 4. And then we simply solve. So 2 times a negative 3 gives us a negative 6, and a negative 6 minus 4 gives us a negative 10. So when x is negative 3, y is negative 10. We can write that in function notation, saying that f of negative 3 is equal to negative 10. So this is the correct function notation. And function notation is nothing more than y is equal to f of x. So the letter that you have inside the parentheses is going to be your x value, and the one by itself is going to be your y. So it's read f of x, or the value of the function when x is a certain number. So if we look at it another way, we can write out our x and y coordinates. Just remember your form is y is equal to f of x. So this is our x value, this is our y value. So if this is the coordinate x, y, remember that x goes in the parentheses, the y is by itself. Again, the x goes in the parentheses and the y is by itself. If we're asked to take function notation and write it in coordinate form, this is our x value, this is our y value, so our ordered pair would be 6, negative 10. Same thing holds true here, negative 6, 0 is our y value. So let's try one. If I ask you to find f of negative 4 for the equation, negative x minus 7, we're going to go back and remember this is our x value. So everywhere we have an x, we're going to plug the number negative 4. So f of negative 4 is equal to the opposite of a negative 4 minus 7. So f of negative 4 is equal to, what's the opposite of a negative 4? That's going to be a positive 4. And then we bring down the minus 7. So f of negative 4 is equal to 4 minus 7 is a negative 3. So our ordered pair here would be negative 4, negative 3. If we're looking at an example, we don't have to always say f of x. We can say g of x, we can say h of x, we can say f of b, h of n. We can plug in any letters. They're just always going to be alphabetical in order. So for this one, what we know we're plugging in, everywhere that we have an a, we're going to plug in negative 3. So we're going to say h of negative 3, remember that's what they're telling us to plug in, into this equation. Everywhere that we have the letter a, we're going to put a negative 3. So we've got 2 times negative 3 raised to the third power minus 2 times a negative 3. So when we go to solve this, h of negative 3 is equal to 2 times, well, the first thing I'm going to do is raise 3 to the third power. So negative 3 times a negative 3 is a positive 9, and a positive 9 times a negative 3 is a negative 27. So negative 3 to the third is a negative 27. And then negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. Once you get to that point, and when you go to solve it, you're going to have h of negative 3 is equal to 2 times a negative 27. Well, 2 times a negative 27 is going to be a negative 54 plus 6. So h of negative 3 is equal to a negative 54 and a positive 6 is going to give you a negative 48. Remember, you have to subtract. If we write this, this is written in function notation here. So get used to seeing items written in function notation. Let's try another example. Here we have g, b, and we have the square root. So everywhere that we have a b, we're going to plug in the number 30. So we have g of 30 is equal to 3 times the square root of 2 times 30. So g of 30 is equal to 3 times the square root, and 2 times 30 is 60. Now you have to remember some of your rules for simplifying perfect squares. So let's see if we can figure out a couple of them. I know that 4 times 15 gives me 60. So this is a perfect square. That can come outside. The square root of 4 is 2. So when I bring that outside, I have to multiply that times the 3 that's already out there. So 3 times 2 times the square root of 15. Oops, I wrote 16, sorry. Now, g of 30 is equal to 3 times 2 is 6 times the square root of 15. Problems with writing that. This again is function notation, so it's written correctly. Example 3, let's say that we're having to graph something and we're given a table. So this is the same thing that we did over here, plugging in numbers. They just give it to us in table form. So everywhere that we have an x, we're going to plug in a 1. So let's plug that in. So the absolute value of 1 minus 1 minus 2, this gives us the absolute value of 0. And the absolute value of 0 is 0, and 0 minus 2 gives us a negative 2. If we do the next one, we're going to say negative 4 minus 1 minus 2. So inside we have the absolute value of a negative 5, but the absolute value of a negative 5 is a positive 5, and 5 minus 2 gives us 3. And the last one, let's do the absolute value of 5 minus 1 minus 2. That gives us 4 minus 2. The absolute value of 4 is 4, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So that gives us some points. And let's go over here and let's put these on our graph. So if I have 1, negative 2, that's here. If I have negative 4, 3, that's up here. And if I have 5, 2, that's up here. And all I have to do is just go in and graph my lines. And hopefully everybody remembers from Algebra 1 that when you graph an absolute value, it is V-shaped. It's shaped like the letter V. Let's try one that's a little teeny bit harder. Here we're going to plug in 22, but we're not plugging it in for x, are we? We're plugging this in. This is our x, so this is our y value. So this quantity over here, we're going to say is equal to 22. And then the rest of it is the same, 2x over 3 plus x over 4. Now, how do we solve that? We have fractions. So we have to find our least common multiple. Remember that LCM? What's the smallest number that both 3 and 4 can divide into? So that's 12. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to multiply everything on both sides by 12. So when we start to multiply everything on both sides by 12, we end up here, 22 times 12 is going to give us 264. 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 3 times x is 3x. This gives me 264 is equal to 8 plus 3 gives me 11x. If I divide by 11, I get 24 is equal to x. So if I'm going to write this in function notation, then I'm going to say f of 24 is equal to 22. So that's the correct function notation. All right, example 4. We're going to plug in, this is our b, so this is what this whole quantity is equal. So we're going to do just like we did before. So that we're going to say is equal to 15 is equal to the absolute value of 2b minus 3 minus 2. Absolute value, remember, you have to isolate the absolute value sign. So we got to get that absolute value sign by itself. Anything that's outside of that absolute value sign, we got to bring it over to the other side. So we have 17 is equal to the absolute value of 2b minus 3. Now, for absolute value problems, hopefully you remember, you separate with an OR. So you're going to have two problems. You're going to take the original problem just as it is without the absolute value sign, and you're going to solve it. So plus 3. So this gives me 20 is equal to 2b. Divide by 2. So 10 is equal to b. Now over here on this side, remember when you do the OR part, you take the opposite of what it was set equal to. So instead of 17, it's going to be negative 17 is equal to what was inside the absolute value sign. Again, we're going to add 3 to both sides. That's going to give me a negative 14 is equal to 2b. Divide by 2. So I have negative 7 is equal to b. So we actually have two answers that we can have for this one. So for our function notation, we could have f of 10 is equal to, I remember what we said it was equal to, 15. Or we can have f of negative 7 is equal to 15. Remember, we have two answers that would give us that. And that's, remember, because it's absolute value, it's a v. So these are on opposite sides of our v. When we look at the next one, we've got another number that we're going to set it equal to. So we're going to have 8 is equal to n squared minus 2n. Well, this is a quadratic. Remember, to solve a quadratic, you bring everything over and set it equal to 0. So we have 0 is equal to n squared minus 2n minus 8. Then we're going to factor. What can we multiply together to get n squared? N and n. The only thing that we can multiply to get a positive, to get a negative answer is one positive and one negative. So what can we multiply to get 8 that when we subtract, we get a negative 2, a positive 2, and a negative 4. We set each one of these equal to 0. And then we would subtract 2 and get a negative 2. Here we set it equal to 0. We would add 4. And we get n is equal to 4. So again, we have two answers. So we have h of negative 2 is equal to 8. Or h of 4 is equal to 8. For problem number 6. Again, we've got this table that we've set up, so we're going to have to fill in our table. So we just plug this in. So we have a negative 1 squared plus 2 times a negative 1. So this is going to give me 1 minus 2, or negative 1. If I plug in the 0 here, that's going to give me x squared plus 2x. I take out an x and I have x plus 2 left. Set each one of them equal to 0 and solve. So I get x is equal to 0 and negative 2. So this, I have two answers for x. I can have a 0 or I can have a negative 2. And the last one, I'm going to have 8 is equal to x squared plus 2x. Again, we bring the 8 over by subtracting it. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 8. And that's the same one that we just did before back here on this problem here. So we end up with having to factor it. So we're going to factor. So we have x and x. One's plus, one's minus. This time the 2 is going to be with the negative, the 4 is going to be with the positive. So we get x is equal to -4 and +2 for our answers.